in the high-ceiling district courtroom was thick with a silence so profound you could almost feel the weight of every gaze. A suffocating tension, broken only by the faint, slow tick of a wall clock that seemed to mark not minutes, but heartbeats, marking the slow march towards a verdict that hung precariously in the balance. Through the tall oak doors, moving with hesitant dignity, walked a small figure, 6-year-old Alara Jones, her hand anchored by the thick leather leash of Shadow, a magnificent, dark-coated German Shepherd who bore a distinct pale scar across his flank, a painful memory of the day that brought them here. To seek justice, every single person in the gallery, the jury box and the defense table instantly turned, their attention locked onto the small child who was the prosecution's only hope, the sole surviving witness to an attempt that had shattered her young life and tragically stolen her voice, leaving her incapable of speaking a single word since the terrible ordeal. Judge Thomas Abernathy, a man known for his rigorous adherence to procedure, watched the pair settle into the space reserved for them, his face unreadable, yet his mind weighed heavily with the enormity of the case.
The challenge seemed insurmountable, yet as she took her seat, her eyes, the colour of moss after a spring rain, finally lifted and locked with Varric's the intense gaze of the accused. In that instant, her tiny fingers, barely visible against Shadow's thick black fur, twitched just once, a minuscule, covert motion, a secret signal developed during months of painstaking trauma therapy that only two beings in that massive room registered: the discerning, experienced judge, whose gaze missed nothing, and the animal protector sitting stoically by her side. Shadow's entire frame instantly became taut, his ears swiveling forward with a razor-sharp focus, and a deep, continuous, subterranean rumble began to vibrate in his chest, a sound that was not just a simple bark or whimper, but a powerful, ancient declaration of menace and clear recognition that shook the very foundations of the courtroom. The courtroom's fragile silence was instantly shattered by this primal, undeniable sound, and the atmosphere shifted from one of sterile legal procedure to one of raw, terrifying truth, proving to all present that this was not merely a comfort animal responding to generalized fear, but a dedicated guardian reacting to the precise threat he knew intimate. Judge Abernathy did not hesitate, his heavy gavel descending with a jarring, absolute finality, the sudden, commanding crack echoing as he declared an immediate, unscheduled adjournment, a 20-minute recess to restore order to a room now buzzing with shocked speculation about the meaning of the dog's display. Outside the chambers, while Ilara clung desperately to Shadow's neck for dear life, Federal Agent Marcus Dean approached the judge, his voice low and firm, insisting that the dog had identified the man with a certainty no human witness could possess, staking his entire career on the conviction that Shadow knew exactly who Daniel Varric was and what he had done months ago. The unexpected dog-generated lead cracked the cold case wide open within hours. A search warrant revealing trace amounts of unusual, highly specific clay soil in Varric's vehicle, a perfect geological match for a derelict hunting cabin deep in the mountainous northern district, where no one would think to look. The search team deployed immediately, and with Shadow leading the charge, his nose to the ground and his determination absolute, they tracked Varric's secret trail through dense undergrowth until they arrived at the cabin's weathered back door, where the German Shepherd instantly froze. He issued a warning growl, not of fear, but of absolute conviction, before scratching frantically and repeatedly at a specific section of the rotting floorboards, a frantic, non-verbal sign that beneath them lay something hidden, something terrible that needed to be found immediately. The tactical team followed the powerful dog's unerring lead, tearing up the planks to reveal a narrow concrete stairwell leading into a dank, terrifying basement, and there, huddled and chained in the suffocating darkness, they found an 8-year-old girl, miraculously alive. A victim Varric had successfully hidden. The girl was carefully carried out into the welcome daylight, whispering a single exhausted word of thanks as Shadow stood faithfully, protectively by her side, his tail low, his scarred eyes alert, his job clearly not yet finished until justice was fully secured. Back in court days later, the overwhelming weight of the new evidence, DNA from the chains, irrefutable tire track comparisons, and now the living testimony of a second rescued victim crushed any hope of Varick's acquittal, his earlier smug confidence completely evaporating into a look of utterly defeated terror. Shadow was brought forward one last time, walking slowly towards the defendant's table, stopping directly in front of the guilty man and issuing a powerful, rumbling growl just loud enough for the sound to travel across the silent room, a final, unmissable, non-negotiable judgment of his guilt. Varick's hands began to shake violently, his composure completely dissolving, and in a thin, barely audible, broken voice, he spoke the words everyone had waited for. "I want to change my plea. I am guilty of all charges." He was sentenced immediately to a life term with no possibility of parole, a measure of justice earned not by a human witness, but by the relentless loyalty of a dog. Weeks later, in the peaceful safety of her sun-drenched living room, Hilara finally lifted her small hand to Max's familiar face, her eyes filled with a love and gratitude that transcended any need for speech, and in a quiet, true voice, she finally whispered a thank you. Some connections are forged in the very fires of fear and trauma, creating a bond that is absolutely unbreakable, proving that sometimes the sharpest legal insight and the most courageous heart in the room can indeed walk faithfully on 4 powerful legs. If this story of loyalty and justice resonated deeply within your own heart, do not simply pass it by. Hit that subscribe button right now to join a community that celebrates the powerful, life-saving connection between humans and animals, and leave a comment below to let us know how this incredible triumph of silent courage made you feel.